Hey, I'm 𝖒𝖊𝖉𝖎𝖆𝖘 and this is my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be for books I read in April. I read 5 and it's not for best, but it's also not for worst. In January I read 10, but it's not necessarily about how many books I've read in a month. It's about whether or not I find like the quality of books. So the first book I read in April is The Phone Box at 𝖒𝖊𝖉𝖎𝖆𝖑 by 𝕾𝖊𝖈𝖎𝖆𝖆𝖆. I probably butchered the last name. On the blurb it says, "We will have something to tell those we have lost. On a windy hill in Japan, in a garden overlooking the sea, stands a disused phone box. For years people have travelled to visit the phone box, to pick up the receiver and speak into the wind, to pass their messages to loved ones no longer with us. When Yuri loses her mother and daughter in the tsunami, she wonders how she will carry on. One day she hears of the phone box and decides to make her own pilgrimage there, to speak to the people she loves the most. But when you have lost everything, the right words can be the hardest to find." Then Yuri meets Takashi, a bereaved husband whose own daughter has stopped talking in the wake of their loss. What happens next will warm your heart, even when it feels as though it is breaking. I probably should have checked before I filmed this video what I rated all these books on Goodreads. I believe I gave this one a 3 or 4, and I just thought it was like really sweet, and the whole thing is about grief. And Yuri, who obviously, as it says in the blurb, lost her mum and her own daughter in it, but then through grief she met a man that she fell in love with, and then, spoilers ahead, I think she ends up having a child with that man. And because of her, Takashi is the man that she meets and falls in love with. His daughter talks, and then the three of them go to the phone box to talk. And I believe Yuri has her own radio show in this, and I just found it really sweet, and like, I'm not even joking. Oh, it's also based on a true story. It made me kind of want to go there to the phone box, but then I also don't want to go there because obviously I'm not 100% if it's a tourist attraction, but I haven't really lost anyone, so I have no need to go there. And it's like, I don't want to be that weird tourist going to a place where you talk to the dead. But yeah, so this was the first book I read in April. The next book I read is The Guest List by 𝖒𝖊𝖉𝖎𝖆𝖆𝖃, I think that's how you say it. The blurb is, "Each has a secret, each has a motive. Off a wind-swept Irish coast, guests gather for the wedding of the year. Old friends, past grudges, happy families, hidden jealousies. 13 guests, one body. One guest won't leave this wedding alive." Right, this one is going to be spoilery. I actually can't remember much about this one. I also think I gave it a 3 star. It wasn't that good. Well, actually no, I feel like I gave it a 3 or 4. Majority of these are 3 or 4. It has a bunch of POVs, which I'm kind of iffy with them because I get really confused easily. And that's why I DNF'd it the first time I was reading it. Oh, DNF means did not finish. And that's the main reason why. But then in this book it's really clear. For example, it says Hannah for +1, which is one of the POVs. And as it says, each person has the motive. And as I was reading it, I was trying to work it out. And at first I thought it was the sister. Jules is the bride. Olivia. I thought it was Olivia. And then I thought it was Jules, and then the person that I thought it was, I had no clue, because what I like about this one is all the characters are connected somehow, like not necessarily by being related. Right, I'm gonna spoil it. The person that dies is the groom, and everyone is somehow connected to him or the wife, and the wife, for example, like for start, it takes a while for someone to die. I think I was like halfway through when the groom finally died, because the waitress came in and I was like, body, and that was probably not what happened. But then once the body was discovered, everyone went out to find it, and then it took me ages to actually find out who the body was, and then it took me ages to work out who did it, and it wasn't actually who I expected it to, because at the end I was half expecting Jules, the bride, to be behind it, but it wasn't actually her, because you find something out, and Jules was so angry. To be honest, I don't really blame her. But like, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about this one. Oh, I totally recommend for phone books at Theatre of the World. Do I recommend this? Yes, I would say it's slow, but then it's slow, but it's not slow at the same time. I don't know if I would recommend this though. The next book I read is The Package by Sebastian Fitzek, which I didn't realise until when I got it. I didn't realise it was originally German. But yeah. So the blurb says, all you've done is taken in a parcel for a neighbour. You have no idea what you've let into your life. Emma's the one that got away, the only survivor of a serial killer, or she thinks she was. The police aren't convinced, nor is her husband. She never even saw her tormentor properly, but now she sees him everywhere. Questioning her sanity, she retreats from the world. It is better to stay at home, quiet, anonymous, safe. You won't find her here. I think I gave this book a 4 or 5. I actually really, really liked it. It's fucked up that like rapes in it. It's like the main character, Emma, she gets raped. I'm doing that. I don't mean to offend anyone by doing that, but it's really, really complicated, because the person that raped her is meant to be a serial killer, and I called for barber or like for haircutter or something. I can't remember. Also, kind of spoiling it. I'm sorry. But they rape and then they kill someone, but she survived, and I think it's her husband or something. And I'm trying to remember. I can't remember who the barber person was, but it's actually so good. This is probably a really bad description of this book, but I have such a bad memory, and obviously I've read 5 books, and this year I've read like, I think I'm in my 30s. I'm definitely going to be able to read 50 books, and that was my goal for 2021. So yeah, this book I totally recommend. What I probably should start doing is actually write a review on Goodreads, and then I can read that to you all. But I'm a dipshit and I forgot. Anyway, the next book, Girl A by Abigail. I saw loads of people talking about this on BookTube, and when I went into Tesco's, because that's where I got it from, this was actually on my Books I Want /TBR sort of thing, and I saw it in Tesco's, and I'm not even joking, the second I saw it I was like, yeet, and I grabbed it. So that's not the blurb, like, sometimes the blurb is inside the book, which kind of annoys me. Also, I don't know why. So this is for Sleeve. I don't know why. Sleeves really annoy me, and I prefer books like this. Like, I don't know why. Look how sleek and cool this looks. And it's just black, and then in yellow font it says Girl A by Abigail and HarperCollins. And this one is actually a British book, and I'm British. We love that. Right. Runny nose. The book says, Girl A, she said, the girl who escaped. If anyone was going to make it, it was going to be you. That's an actual quote from the book, I've just realised. Lex Gracie doesn't want to think about her family. She doesn't want to think about growing up in her parents' house of horrors. And she doesn't want to think about her identity as Girl A, the girl who escaped. When her mother dies in prison and leaves Lex and her siblings the family home, she can't run from her past any longer. Together with her sister Evie, Lex intends to turn the House of Horrors into a force for good, but first she must come to terms with her 6 siblings and with the childhood they shared. I believe I gave this a 4 or 5, and it was actually really, really good. But it focuses about abuse, so there's a trigger warning, and I do recommend this to everyone. I really, really liked it. I'm trying to remember what my opinions were. I probably, oh my god. So I've lost my train of thought. So as I was reading this, I tend to read like near enough every single day, and I was getting really, really into this book. Like, I didn't want to put it down. Not necessarily with books. I can not want to put a book down, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good. But this book was really, really good. It's definitely not one of my favorites, but it is so good. I've said good so many times. There's a little twist at the end that I was not expecting, and you could probably guess it's to do with Evie, and that's what I was like, oh. But I was not expecting it, and then when I read it, I think I started tearing up, and I was like, oh. But yeah, so that's what I thought of this book. Totally recommend it. My memory's really bad. So the last book I read in April is 𝖒𝖉𝖉𝖎𝖆, To Play Is to Die by Chris Bradford. What I didn't realise when I got this book is it's actually the second, it's a sequel. It's the second in a series. I'm not sure how many, but I read it, and the blurb is Scott nearly died playing virtual combat. When I read it, my mind went Mortal Kombat, and that's a video game that I really like. Virtual reality fighting game. Also, reminds me of SAO, which is Sword Art Online, and it's a game. It's an anime, and it's about. Well, season 1 is about this game that if you die in the game, you die in real life. But yeah, virtual reality fighting game that risks the lives of street kids for profit. Hunted by Ross drones, Scott's on the run when he comes across a gang of techno hackers who share his wish to destroy 𝖒𝖊𝖉𝖎. They've developed a virus that could do the job, but in order to implant it, Scott has to re-enter the arena and risk being trapped inside the game forever. I read this, right, and I think when I went to read it, that was when I found out it was a sequel, and in my opinion, I was not confused at all when I read it. I think it would be a really good standalone, and if it was a standalone, it could have gone into so much more detail. I kind of wish it was longer, and I think I gave it 3 stars. I kind of wish I gave it 2 now, but yeah. So it has doodle. It has like drawings on it, which I found pretty cool. So I read it, and I was not confused at all. If you ever read this, I don't think you need to read the first one to read this one. And then what? Does it tell you what the first one is called? It also ends on a cliffhanger. The first one is called Gamer. But this could be read as a standalone. I'm not going to carry on the series, nor am I going to read the first book, because I don't think it was, I don't think it was good enough for me to spend more time on it. But also, it ends in a cliffhanger, and hold on, the last page, I'll read you the cliffhanger. I don't think it was that good of a cliffhanger. My brother Pentinen was wrong. I did survive. Now I want revenge. 𝖒𝖊𝖉𝖎𝖆 will be played in the real world. Scott is my target. If you're reading this, be warned. This is no longer just a game. I don't think it was that good of a cliffhanger, to be honest. But yeah, out of all, I just have the same stuff over and over. But there were funny moments. Can I remember any of them? No. Is that a good thing? Probably. Out of all the books out of the 5 books that I read in April, my favourite one was 𝖭𝖊𝖉𝖎 by Abigail Dean. I do recommend, I recommend all of these, but for sure my favourites would be 𝖭𝖊𝖉𝖎 and Phone Box. Well, actually, no. My favourite would be 𝖭𝖊𝖉𝖎. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment down below 1 of the videos you want me to do, 2 you want me to do a collab of, and 3 questions, and then I'll happily do a Q&A video. Also give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and press the subscribe button and the notification bells, and then you get a notification every single time I upload a brand new video. And I shall see you in my next one. Bye!